You see, I told you I was going to go out there and make some videos about Canucks-related topics. This one isn't particularly a Canucks topic at the moment, but this is one that I think many Vancouver Canucks fans seeing this would be like, oh, that's actually pretty great. Good for him. Let's talk today about the Columbus Blue Jackets, and no, not in particular about a specific game or a specific Patrik Laine, because when it comes to Columbus Blue Jackets conversation, I know everybody is talking about Laine, and for good reason, to be fair. Laine has been absolutely phenomenal as of late, which is fantastic to see because, as we've been chronicling over the past few months, there has been some uncertainty as to whether or not Laine is going to stay in Columbus, re-sign, trade, whatever. And so just seeing the success, giving the Blue Jackets fans something to cheer about, and giving Laine himself something to feel proud about, that's great to see as well. But you know what? I don't want to talk about Laine in this video. I want to talk about Brendan freaking Gaunce. Because, man, you go over onto this YouTube channel and you search Brendan Gaunce. You will find videos on my video feed here from like 3, 4, 5 years ago talking about Brendan Gaunce and discussing what I wanted this guy to become at the NHL level. Let's go over what exactly Gaunce has done to revive his career in the Columbus system, the really long and treacherous path that he had to take in order to get to this position, and the pit stops he made along the way. Brendan Gaunce is 27 years old, 6'2", 216, a center left wing left-handed player, signed by the Blue Jackets to a one-year deal at $750,000. Now, this contract was pretty much just a show me, gimme, okay, let's see what you can do kind of deal. He signed because he was going to play in the AHL, where he was pretty good, and now he's back in the NHL. But before we go over onto what he is doing now, let's go over onto where he had been before. Brendan Gaunce was initially drafted back in 2012 by the Vancouver Canucks, 26th overall. Now, the Canucks in this time frame are particularly noted for having a terrible drafting staff. Like, aside from Bo Horvat and, like, Kevin Connaughton or whoever the heck it is, this Canucks drafting core was terrible. Mike Gillis just did not do a good job when it came to getting long-term NHL-caliber players that stuck around for a while. Cody Hodgson, Jordan Schrader, Nick Jensen, Brendan Gaunce, Hunter Shinkaruk. There were so many top-of-the-line guys that the Vancouver Canucks drafted that just didn't really become anything, and Gaunce was one of these players that the Canucks had drafted and that a lot of Canucks fans wanted to see more out of. In 2011-2012, he was a point-per-game center for the OHL's Belleville Bulls, where he was a pretty solid two-way beast. If you take a look at the scouting report, they say back in this time frame, he was a strong, big two-way forward with a good net drive and a high level of compete. His speed should be noted, as he constantly uses it to gain leverage on defenders. By the way, Columbus Blue Jackets fans, hey, he does speed around and find himself on a few breakaways here and there, does he not? He propels himself into hits and is very effective in a bang and crash roll. Very good positionally and always recognizes where the puck is and where it will be in the next 3 seconds. Has natural offensive instincts around the net and conceals the puck well against goalies in close. Defensively, he's very aware and active, uses the boards to his advantage and actively takes away shooting and passing lanes. Transitioning to offense quickly is something that he needs to work on, as he can get caught up in his own zone for a prolonged amount of time. Now, for Gaunce, one of the bigger things that a lot of Canucks fans wanted out of this player was indeed that middle six, reliable, penalty-killing two-way center. And to be fair, for a few years, it really did look like he would develop into that kind of role. The next few seasons saw him suit up more in Belleville and eventually Erie in the OHL, and then he made his way over to Utica, where in his rookie season he had 29 points in 74 games played. The year after that, though, he was pretty good. Just under a point per game for the Comets, and he made his NHL debut with the Vancouver Canucks. Now, unfortunately for him, in 20 games played, he only had 1 goal, and that 1 goal was pretty whack. He was in the front of the net, just kind of battling for positioning, and eventually a shot just went in off of his skate, I believe. And that was sort of the meme with Brendan Gaunce for a while, because the next season with Vancouver, he scored 0 goals. He had 5 assists in 57 games, but as a guy who was going out there as a 22-year-old, he just wasn't really finding that groove. The season after that, you saw him score a few more goals. He actually had 4 on the year this time. But for the longest time, a lot of Canucks fans were just kind of memeing around because Brendan Gaunce, for some reason, had a good chunk of his goals actually just be deflections, where he didn't really intend for it to go off of him, but he was just in the right place in the right time. I believe one of them went off of his foot, and another one went off of his bum, something like that. I might be wrong, completely wrong in that respect. But Brendan Gaunce played his last Vancouver Canucks season in 2018-19. Now, he was a point per game in the 3-game sample size he had, and he had 38 points in 60 games with the Utica Comets here too. So he had better AHL seasons at the time, but his Vancouver stint was very short-lived, and as a result, he went to free agency in a free agent Canucks class that included the likes of Marcus Granlund, Luke Schenn, who the heck else left the team in that time frame? Derek Pouliot or something? Yeah, it was somebody like that. Eventually, he made his way over to the Providence Bruins and the Boston Bruins system, where in 52 games played in the AHL, he had 37 points. Also, 1 game and 1 goal in the NHL with Boston. Now, last year, Brendan Gaunce did not actually re-sign anywhere in the NHL. He went over to the Växjö Lakers system in the SHL, so this is the Swedish Hockey League, where he was under a point per game, 12 points, 18 games, and he was under a point per game in the postseason as well. This season, though, things have taken a very good turn for the better for Brendan Gaunce, as he signed another contract to head back over to North America, and as we noted for the Cleveland Monsters, he was pretty good, 28 points, 39 games played. He was good enough to get called up to the regular Blue Jackets squad, and my gosh, am I so happy to see this happen for this guy. In 7 games played, Brendan Gaunce has 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists. You take a look at the game log over here. He scored his first goal against the Buffalo Sabres, and now he is riding a 2-game point streak where he has 4 points in the process. A goal and 2 assists against the Sabres again, and then a breakaway goal last night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, Brendan Gaunce is by no means a top-of-the-line, number 1 NHL winger, NHL center, whatever. But for what he is doing right now, this is the best we have seen out of this guy at the National Hockey League level, and it comes at 27 years old. I'm so gosh darn happy to see this, and a lot of Canucks journalists are too. Take a look at Rick Dhaliwal, genuinely happy to see Gaunce reviving his career at the age of 27. 3 goals in 7 games in Columbus, one of the nicest players you will meet. AHL, Sweden, never gave up, still going since leaving Vancouver in 2018. Good for him. Brendan Gaunce, Wyatt Arndt says, having a potential NHL career resurgence is awesome to see. The guy was nothing but class here in Vancouver. Daniel Wagner says, I still remember during the 2017-18 season when Brendan Gaunce had been the lowest offensive zone start percentage in the league, meaning that the amount of times that he started in the offensive zone on a faceoff versus the defensive zone and neutral zones, he had the lowest ratio amongst every player in the NHL, and I asked if he was aware he had only been on the ice for 31 offensive zone starts at that point in the season. He just laughed and said, that many? We love seeing him get another shot over here. Now, I get it. There are so many stories going on in Columbus right now. Everybody's talking about Patrick Laine. As we said, he's at 2 points a game in the past, 10 games or whatever it is, so he's doing really well. Everybody's talking about the Laine versus Matthews thing because the shot Laine had to win in overtime yesterday was against Austin, but man, I just want to focus on that Brendan Gaunce, because if things go forward and he continues playing the way he has been playing, then there's no reason to believe that he will not get re-signed to another NHL contract soon, because for $750,000, the amount of production and the amount of success that we have seen out of Gaunce is certainly a lot more than you would have expected. And we take a look at a lot of the things that the scouting report said. They talked about, his speed, he's got a really good positioning side to his game, and that's kind of what we've been seeing a lot out of him over the past few games. He's scored 2 breakaways already for the Blue Jackets, and a lot of these plays have come from being at the right place at the right time, knowing when to pinch and knowing when to use that speed to go forward. He's playing currently on the 4th line with Roslovic and Danforth, so just seeing the amount of production from a player who is averaging 7 minutes of time on ice per game, wow, just wow. Sure, I remember the few goals he scored in Vancouver off his body parts where they just deflected off and in, but there still were some really good moments where I was like, yeah, Brendan Gaunce made a very good defensive play. He stole the puck, or he pickpocketed a guy in the defensive zone. He was always a very smart hockey guy, he just never really was able to get it together in Vancouver. And now if that happens in Columbus, I will be very, very happy to see it. It's like Hunter Shinkaruk, it's like Lyndon Vey and Nick Jensen. These guys do well elsewhere, I'm happy for them, but if they come back to the NHL and they show off that they're that good still, yeah, like, that makes me feel really good inside. So talk to me in the comments, what do you think about Brendan Gaunce reviving his career? I hope you enjoyed this British Rolls 99, and bye.